Hello, my friends. So this is a vision board training. I do vision boards a little bit different than a lot of vision boards I see out there. So I'm going to show you how I create my vision board and how I work it. Now, a vision board can be anything. A vision board can be tape on your wall in a square or rectangle, and you put things in that space. It can be a cork board. It can be a whiteboard. It can be a screen on your computer. It can be a program on your phone that brings it up over and over and over again. The magic that happens with a vision board is what happens inside of you. The vision board itself doesn't create things. It doesn't cause things to happen necessarily. It is the visual reminder of the things that you desire. And when you flood your brain with the things that you desire, both with pictures and with words, then you're more likely to see it, you're more likely to be attracted to it, you're more likely to receive opportunities to acquire the thing or the experience or the state of mind or quality of life. So a vision board is a tool. It's not necessarily some magical thing that will bring something to your doorstep. It is something that will help you to create the life that you desire. So um, this is this is an old version. I used this for a class and I thought I would just bring it back out because I love it. So it looks a little old, but it still works. Okay, these are things, these are categories of things that you can put on your vision board. When I create a vision board, it is not necessarily a collage of things that I glue onto onto a board. Um, it actually is a board that where I put things on and I take things off. And actually, I forgot to grab my binder, so I'm going to pause this and grab that. I'll be right back. Okay. So the way I use it, I'll briefly share, is I'll put something on my vision board. And then when I get that thing or that thing is established, whether it's a habit or it's actually a state of mind or a trip or an event, I'll take it off and I'll put it in my vision board binder. This is my vision board success binder, and it's full of all of these things that I have taken off of my vision board so far. So, and I'll give you an example from this. Okay. So here are some of the things that you can actually, some categories to get your mind rolling of things that you can put on your vision board. So you could put travel, like cultural experiences, relaxation, renewal, things that you would love to receive from having a travel experience. Spirituality, some kind of inspiration or insight, developing your intuition, feeling more connected in that way. Education, so knowledge or experience, some kind of like maybe class that you desire to take, or some creativity, new ideas that you desire to have. Achievement, this might be some personal development. It might be something in your career or some hobbies or skills that you desire to hone in or get better at. For me, pickleball will be in there. Love, giving and receiving relationships. This might be your inner circle, might be a family relationships. It might be a particular relationship with a child or your spouse or somebody else who matters to you. This might be also service. If you desire to have more service in your life, what does that look like? Some ideas about service and spreading the love around. Wealth, money and abundance. Money and abundance are two different things. They can be two different things. So what kind of wealth do you desire to have in your life, and how would you invest that wealth once you had it? How would you use it? Another one is family, relationships, and support. That could be that I kind of mentioned that up here. This is more of your inner circle, coworkers, friends. What does that look like? Traditions, experiences with your family. What kinds of things do you desire? What kind of memories do you desire to make with your family? That's particular to your family and inner circle. And then health, wellness and vitality, fitness and nutrition. Do you desire to create more of an ideal experience in your body and be a more ideal shape or size? That's all in health. And then reputation, your character and integrity, how you desire to be known. So, and how you desire to be recognized. What do you desire to stand for or be recognized for? That would all go under reputation. So these are some ideas. It definitely doesn't have to be limited to these things. These are some ideas of things that that you can do to put on your vision board. Okay, so the sun just came out in a big way. All of a sudden, everything just lit up. I don't know if you noticed that. The clouds are moving by, and anyway, it got really sunny just there for a second. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some of the notes that I have on vision boards, just to make sure that I cover it all. So I want to share with you a story from John Assaraf. Now, he is a brain training expert, talks about neuroplasticity a lot. His books are amazing. I highly recommend going and looking him up. So John Assaraf, he was living in the Midwest and had a vision board. He's super into vision boards, and he had this picture of a beautiful home and up on his vision board. And then they moved to California. He and his family moved to California, and the vision board, he has quite a few vision boards that he's kept. And this vision board went into this box of vision boards, and they moved. Well, they hadn't decided really on their keeper home yet, the home that they were really going to end up at, and they were just there. So while they were when they finally found their dream home and they moved into their dream home, and he's in his office doing some work, and his son comes in and he said, "Dad, what's in this box?" And he said, "Oh, some old vision boards." And he said, "Well, can we pull them out and look?" And he said, "Sure." So he pulled out the latest vision board, and on it was a picture of this beautiful home. And he said, "Daddy, that looks just like our house." And it turns out that they had actually bought that particular house, that exact home that was on his vision board. They bought it. And he didn't even remember that it had been on his vision board. He was so shocked when he saw it. He's like, oh, I had to run and show his wife. He's like, "Look at this. We actually moved into this house." So it is, what you flood your brain with is very powerful. What you choose to bring into your world, what you choose to flood your brain with, it stays with you, and you make decisions based off of it. I don't know if you've ever written a list of the things that you desire to have, and then forgotten about that list. I've done that before, and found it years later and realized I had gotten everything off of my list. That everything except one thing, and the one thing that depended on another person, and they hadn't changed that part of themselves yet. So that thing didn't change. That thing really didn't belong on my list because it wasn't mine. It was a desire that I wanted somebody else to make. So that doesn't really go on my vision board. It's not something that is in my stewardship. So everything else, though, had gotten done, and I didn't even remember that I'd even made that list. So what you decide to flood your brain with sticks with you. It goes into your subconscious. It helps determine the decisions that you make, the little decisions that you make that guide you in a certain direction. So vision boards can be super, super helpful and very very helpful for you in and giving you fun experiences that maybe you wouldn't have had otherwise, in improving the quality of your life. I'll give you some examples from my own vision board as we go along. Let's see. Okay, so an example of how flooding your brain helps you notice things. So say, and maybe you've heard this example before, but I think it bears repeating. So if you were to go and buy a yellow car, like who has yellow cars? Nobody, right? Hardly anybody has a yellow car. But if you were to say you found this awesome, uh, I love Shelby's anyway, or like any other kind of car. If you found this yellow car on this car dealerships, at this car dealership, and you thought, oh my gosh, I just love that car, and you go and buy it. Okay. All of a sudden, as you drive around, you're going to see all the other yellow cars. At first, you're thinking, I'm the only one with a yellow car, but you will be amazed at how many other yellow cars there are out there. And you'll also probably notice orange because it has yellow in it. But you'll notice those cars that are yellow. It's insane. It's okay. Say more of maybe a relatable story is if you go buy a blue car. Okay. Blue is not all of that, it's not all that, it's not as common as like a black or a silver or a white. Those seem to be like the big hot cars right now. But if you were to get like a blue car, you will notice all the other blue cars on the road and you'll think, oh my gosh, did everybody go out and buy a blue car? I have never seen so many blue cars in my life, but it's because it's on your radar. You have flooded your mind with that. You have thought a lot about it. So because of that, you're going to notice all the other blue cars. Our conscious mind can only focus on so many things at a time. Actually, only one thing at a time, but it actually has a few things that are on the radar per se, or on the filter. Like there's a reticular activating system that John Assaraf talks about, and there's a filter between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Everything that we don't really need to pay attention to, but is useful for us, is in our subconscious mind. And we've got a lot of unuseful stuff in there too, because we talk about a lot of emotional decluttering. And we talked about, getting rid of things that we don't need, and that false beliefs about ourselves that do not serve us. Those are also living in our subconscious mind, things that we picked up and they go into our subconscious. And actually, before about the age of 7 to 9, everything just drops right into our subconscious. All those programmings, all the understanding that we get from our parents, all the things that we learn, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's supportive or not, whether it's hurtful or supportive, it all goes in. So a lot of us are actually walking around with 7-year-old brains, 8-year-old brains, because to the effect, like to the amount of, or like to the extent of how much you have let go of that is not actually true, that you picked up from your parents, grandparents, people when you were young, right? So flooding your brain with something that you desire is super helpful because it goes through the conscious mind. And if you flood it enough, it goes into your subconscious. It goes right through that filter into your subconscious. And once it's in the subconscious, that's where all of our, that's where all the information our conscious brain draws from to make decisions. So if it's in your subconscious, it's already there. It's going to be readily available for your brain to make a decision on, or to notice things. We'll notice opportunities. So I'll share an example from my own world here. I've got a lot of things, but I thought I would share one in particular that I thought I've manifested my dream home through this, but I thought I'd just do one that's kind of fun. Okay, so we love One Republic in our home. Okay, this is the book, this is the ticket, this is the picture that I put on my vision board of Ryan Tedder and his band, One Republic. And I said, One Republic with kids. That's what I wrote underneath. So what I do with my vision board is I'll put a picture and sometimes words underneath it. So the picture talks to your right, the right side of your brain. The words talk to your left side of the brain. So it's really good at like it activates both sides of the brain that way. So what happened is this was on my vision board for months. And I just thought that would just be fun. I like to put a mixture of things on my vision board that are longer term things, like bigger things, and then shorter term things. And this would be one of my shorter term things, except that when I put it on my vision board, it actually felt impossible. And that's what I usually put on my vision board are things that I don't know how I'm going to do yet. That is one of the criteria of putting it on my vision board. If I already have a plan for it, it doesn't go on my vision board. It goes on my calendar, right? But if I don't know how to do it yet, it goes on my vision board. It's my faith promoting board. So the reason why I didn't know it, like it's a small thing, like it's a concert with the kids. It's relatively small, right? It's not like going to Hawaii or something like that. But it felt impossible at the time because they had been in Asia for the past, I don't know, for how many years before this. This was, I don't even think this was in 2017 when I did this one. So I did not, like before that, they had been in Asia every time I checked, or Europe. And so I'm like, when are they going to come to the States again? I know they're flooding Europe, but oh my gosh, come back home. And or they were on the East Coast and I live in the West. And so I wanted it to be easy to go to. I wanted them to come to Salt Lake City, Utah, which is like 3.5 hours from us because we live in Idaho. And so that's what I desired. And every time that I had checked, they weren't even in the country. So it did feel impossible. Therefore, it went on the vision board. So it was funny because it was there. It was there for a long time. I'd seen it. I had looked at my vision board a lot. It's in my room right next to my bed. So I look at it in the morning. I look at it at night. I look at it during the day when I'm walking through. And all of a sudden, I'm in the kitchen one morning and I had this thought, look up One Republic, go see where they're at right now. I'm like, okay. And it was so interesting because it was like, tickets go on sale in like 6 days, 7 days, something like that. In the next 2 weeks somewhere, but it wasn't very long. Tickets go on sale for their tour, for their United States tour. And I'm like, oh, cool. And this was like in January, I think. And so it was sometime in early February when the tickets were going to go on sale. And so I looked them up and sure enough, they were coming to Salt Lake in August. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then I looked up who was opening for them and it was Fitz and the Tantrums. Now, at this time, in 2017, my kids were younger. They're all in high school now. Well, a lot of them are in high school. And we watched like our music was not like the kids weren't into their own music yet. And so we would listen to One Republic and Fitz and the Tantrums in the kitchen when we did like clean up. Like we're huge into music, right? So we listened to my 70s music, of course, and all of our 80s music that we love. And then like newer music we're more selective about because we don't know it as well. And so One Republic I love and Fitz and the Tantrums I loved. And so we would watch those videos on the computer in the kitchen / dining room area. And so I felt safe listening to those lyrics and having those YouTube videos on, and that would provide our dancing, cleaning music in that part of our house. And so, because it's a wide open floor plan, so it bounces everywhere and everybody loves it. So that being said, Fitz and the Tantrums and One Republic were the only like newer bands that my kids knew. And so when I saw that Fitz was opening for One Republic, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like perfect. Like, yeah, we have to do this. So anyway, so I was able to easily get on, schedule the time so that I could get on and purchase those tickets for August. And we had so much fun. It was the best concert ever. The kids loved it. They knew all the songs. And it was great. So that's a fun one. That's a fun thing that and so that definitely goes into my binder. One of the reasons why I have a vision board that has detachable things is so that it has somewhere to go when it's done. So I keep all of these things. This is my success binder. So all of these, so then something else can replace it. I don't have, instead of having, and some people like to have just a big collage, flood their brain with all of these pictures and stuff. I like mine to be a little bit more specific, that I desire specific things to happen in my life, because as I am specific, I can track it. I can see what actually happened. And this helps me show my brain, this actually happened because I flooded my brain with it. So, let's see. I talk about romantic Hawaii getaway with Heath. It's a black and white picture. So we did that because I love I love the Nepali coastline. Speaking publicly, this was actually my very first one that I ever I drew. That's supposed to be me on a stage and hundreds of people. And it was so interesting because it took a while for this one to come off, and it happened differently than I thought. It was a church meeting instead of a mentoring class that I was teaching. I envisioned it being a mentoring class, but it was actually a church meeting that I was asked to speak at that was hundreds of people. And it was fun and easy, and I was ready for it. Let's see. And some other things are really small. Like I didn't even put a picture for this one. It was fill up my flower beds. And then I put when I did it. On this one, I put the date, summer 2023, so I could see when I actually did it. So sometimes it's just I didn't feel the need to draw flower beds, and I didn't know how they were going to be filled. I didn't know necessarily what flowers I wanted yet. I just visualized, I saw this filling my flower beds. I visualized my flower beds being full of green and greenery and flowers and bushes and ground cover and lots of stuff, because we've got lots of flower beds around our house. So filling the flower beds was, oh my gosh, what a blessing that was. And so it's really fun to be able to do that. Oh, the piano. And that's funny because it didn't end up looking like this, and I actually knew that when I put it on there. I just knew I wanted a piano. This is actually an electronic piano. And then I changed my mind, but I didn't change the picture. I just kept the picture there, but just knew, like, I think I want just a regular piano, like the one that I grew up with. And it was so interesting because we ended up getting a piano that was, oh gosh, it's worth like probably $1,200-$1,300. It's a beautiful, beautiful piano. And we got it for like $200 because they had a couple different pianos that they received from grandparents and didn't have anywhere, and just wanted to go to a good home. And so, oh, it's so nice because it's got such great energy, and it's beautiful in my living room. So anyway, this is okay. I have to share. This is one for my house, the house that we built. So this was the picture for the builder, because I wanted to find a builder. And I didn't know any builders. We'd never built a house before. And so we looked for this represented a builder for me. And the interesting thing is that, builders, sometimes they contract everything out. And sometimes they do part of the work themselves and then contract everything out. And it just occurs to me as I'm looking at this right now that the builder that I chose, who ended up doing a house call, like he came to us, he like offered all these ideas to like save money on our floor plan. Like he's amazing. He actually does the framing. That just barely occurred to me. Like this builder is working on the trusses of this house, and that the framing is what Alan, my builder, he does the framing. He doesn't contract that out, and then he contracts everything else out. But and I don't know, maybe a lot of builders do that. I don't know, but he that just barely came into my mind as I saw that picture. I'm like, oh, that's cool, because that's actually what he did. And then this describes the floor plan. It actually ended up looking a little different than this by the time we were done, but this is what we started with. And then we tweaked it because I wanted a garage in the back. This is our front door. So we have two, because we already had this plot of land, because we had a house here before. It already had an existing driveway here and existing driveway here. So we use this driveway just for us, and then everybody else uses this driveway, and we have this long sidewalk that goes up to our front door. But anyway, so let me show you what my vision board looks like right now. It's always in flux. And so right now I have a few missing spots, that I don't necessarily know what I want there, but I want smaller things there because I like to have some small things, or like things that feel easier and things that feel like they're bigger, right? So mine is a cork board, and I actually use painter's tape to tape them up because I don't want the holes. I don't know why. I'm just kind of OCD about that probably. But anyway, so like Phil Collins has been on my vision board for I don't know how many years. Like, oh god, like probably 8, 9 years, something like that, with a small concert. So it will be very interesting to report to you when that actually happens. I envision meeting him and actually getting to know him. That's more important than actually hearing him sing or anything. It's interesting. There's a lot to that I don't really have time to share today, but that has been a very interesting person on my vision board. And it's actually the only actual person that I know that I recognize. Like the builder, I just put a builder. I didn't know who he was. I know who Phil Collins is. But anyway, so he's been on my vision board for a while, and will continue to be there until I figure out why he's there. Because I was just told one day, put Phil Collins on your vision board. I'm like, really? Okay. Well, I love his voice. I love his music. He's a musical genius. So sure, I'll put him on my vision board. And then small concert came to mind. I'm like, really? Small concert? At the time I put him on my vision board, this is going to make a great story when it's all done. It's got a great beginning. So the beginning of the story is I put him up there, and then I looked him up to see what he was doing. And he had just blown his eardrums, or like damaged his eardrums, and he wasn't even playing. The doctor didn't even clear him to play when I put him up here. And I'm like, okay. I put him up there about the same time that I put up the $30,000 and the Thompson rental, if you know that story, of selling our starter home and moving into the Thompson rental, which happened within a week of each other. And they were both really impossible. That's why they went on the vision board. But Phil Collins went up there at that same time. He's still there, and I will keep him there until I realize why he's there. And everything else has come off the vision board except him. So anyway, so Na Pali Coastline, it is like my very favorite place to be. It's in Kauai. and I desire to go back. So it's in the middle of my vision board. Setting up my website, and this one is almost done. This one felt very impossible because I had no idea how to do it. And so I've got a couple of these things done now because the membership is done or it's set up. So there's just a couple things that I'm tweaking there. I desire to wear this dress. I have worn it before when I was in a pageant, and I desire to wear this dress again. And that means I get to be about a size 8 to wear that dress comfortably. And then this picture, I love, of Kate Lee. She's a watercolor artist, and this is a picture of the Savior and a woman, and I love that picture. So as you can see, there are some other sacred spaces here that have not been filled yet. Some have words, some have pictures. So this didn't require any words. So this is what my vision board currently looks like. And I actually am pondering on some simple things to go in some of these other spaces to speed things up. Sometimes I'll actually even move them around. I know Phil Collins has been up here. He's been down here. Other thing, like my builder was up here the whole time that the builder was there. When I did my 30,000 in Thompson rental, when we were selling that house, that was right here. So I've had this cork board for a long time. Anyway, and these spaces, I remember where things are because they're sacred to me. They're important to me. So let me see if there's anything else that I really want to make sure that I have shared. Let's see. I've shared all of this. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, another thing to mention here is that I avoid timelines. I avoid putting dates on the things that I put on my vision board. Sometimes I'll put the date that I start or the date that I put it on the vision board. I'll put the date on the back so that I can see how fast I got it off. Sometimes I'll do that, but I don't necessarily, and I don't put dates on or make kinds of timeline restrictions on the things that I am drawing into my life, because I like to be playful about it and say, how fast can I get it off? And what do I require doing to help it come off of my vision board? Sometimes I will look at this board and say, okay, is there something that I can do? Like I'll look at one of these and say, is there something I can do right now to bring this about faster? Is there something I can do? A mentor of mine said once he was looking at his vision board, and the thought that came to his mind was, you need to clean up your relationships. And so, and he had his paper and his pencil, and he was, ready to write whatever came to mind, which I think is super smart. And so he got that impression, you need to clean up your relationships. He's like, oh, okay, what relationships? And he had like 5 or 8 or something like that come to his mind. And he was told, do them in that order. He's like, okay, that like talk to them, mend the relationship. And so he did. He mended each relationship. And he only had one thing on his vision board. It was a camcorder, back when you had camcorders. It was a red camcorder. And that's what he put. It was an experiment. He was being playful with it. He's like, let's see how this works. I don't even know how this works. And so he cleaned up his relationships, and then he had a flow of ideas of how to get that camcorder. And then he was able to go and get that exact thing, that camcorder. So asking questions is how you work it. That's one of the ways that you work your vision board, is you ask good questions and say, what can I do? Is there something that I can do right now to help one of these things come closer, or help myself be more aligned with it? Because once you're aligned, if your thing is right here and you're down here, you just align yourself, like do some emotional decluttering, do some journaling, do some forgiving, do some, saying sorry and apologizing, whatever it takes to get so that you're aligned with this goal, then you can get that much easier. So that's another thing to remember, is just to ask. That's another way to work your vision board, is to ask, what can I do? Is there something I can do right now? And I keep it very open like that. Is there something I can do right now? Let's see. Having a pad and pen with you as you're asking the questions so that you can write them down, because sometimes they feel very, sometimes they're really obvious and you'll think, really, that's just what my brain came up with. But if you write it down and you ask and you say, should I really do that? And the answer is yes, then why not do it, right? Other times you'll have things go through your mind super fast, like, and if you don't catch it right then, it felt like a fragment of a thought or a whisper of a thought. And it was like on the wind, carried by the wind through your mind. And if you have something to capture it with, you'll be able to write it down. If not, the chances of you remembering that or it coming back around are a lot less. I can tell you that from my own experience. So having something there to write on, or even your phone to capture it, super helpful. And asking the question, is there something I can do right now? Or is there something I can do right now to be more aligned with this, or to bring this to me faster? Let's see. Let me look at my notes, see if there's anything else here. Oh, one thing that's kind of crazy that I think is it's kind of crazy, but everything is energy. So it's probably backed up by science somewhere, but I'll tell you a story. So we were in the rental house, the Thompson rental that we had gotten into, I think because of that it was on the vision board, and it was really on our radar. So we were in the Thompson rental and we were looking for this builder, right? This builder picture was still up on my right-hand corner of my vision board. And what I had learned is that to bring the person to you, or bring the thing to you, like energetically bring it to you by like and it helps your brain, I think, do like understand or feel like how close they are to you. So you bring it and you just try to feel, okay, how close is this? Is it really far away? Is there something I can do? It's just some way to kind of feel into it, if you can feel that. Some people can, some people have a harder time with that. I'm one who can feel that. So it works for me. So if it works for you, try it. So what I did is I would just like bring it to me like this and just imagine it in my mind. Imagine the person, imagine the thing, imagine the circumstance, whatever it is, and bring it to me and bring it to me. And so we're in the rental and we're in our bedroom and I'm doing this, looking at my vision board, and my husband is on the bed reading and he is laughing his head off. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know. My mentor taught me to do this. I'm just doing it. And I can feel something." And he's like, "What? Really?" And I said, "Yeah, I can feel it." And I said, "I feel like our builder is like right here. Like I feel like we've done everything that we can do so far. Like I feel like there's not much more to do. I feel like this builder is ready and available, and there's just a couple things, like it's easy. Like it's easy and he's right here." And he laughed. He thought it was so funny. But it was interesting because just like that next week is when I heard about Alan, and from other, like all these other people had him build their house, and they were all custom homes. And so I'm like, okay. So because all the other builders we talked to wanted us to use their floor plans, and I already had one that fit our lot. and the garage was in the back, all the things I liked. And so I didn't want to go with a builder that only built certain floor plans. So Alan built whatever you wanted to build, and he tried to save you money. So anyway, like, he was the perfect builder. And I've told like lots of friends about him. So anyway, I felt him. He was right here when I was working my vision board and just trying to feel in, how close is it? How close is this person to me? What do I need? What's left to do? So it was just a couple phone calls, and he was at our house the next week. So there are interesting things that you can do to work your vision board. Really, what it comes down to is you are flooding your mind. That's what you're doing. You're flooding your mind with the things that you desire to have come into your life, to experience, to have a greater quality of life, to have less stress, whatever it is, to move up a notch, move up to that next level, whatever that next level is for you. So let me make sure I think I have covered everything. And I invite you, as you make your vision board, that at the same time you make your binder, so that your mind knows it doesn't stay on your vision board forever. It doesn't stay there. It has somewhere to go. It's moving, and it has a home where it belongs, where you can go and appreciate it over and over and over and over and over again over the years, right? I mean, One Republic I mentioned was in 2017. The flower beds were just last summer, so they were just a few months ago. So being able to go back and celebrate and relive and feel that gratitude of what you were able to bring into your life with this, what I call my faith promoting board. It really is a wonderful way to be a creator in your own life. So I hope this helps. And if you feel called, go make a vision board. All right, we'll see ya.